Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the last installment for the South by Southwest trip. As you can see, I'm at a different location right now because I flew back home and my flight didn't land until 1 in the morning, and then I had finals at 10 a.m. So we're doing this late. All right. So the first one that I did yesterday was called Art and Music Discovery in Gaming, which was essentially going over the gaming industry when it comes to grabbing music, specifically the basketball game Y2K and all that, because they typically bring in fresh artists as well as up and coming artists. And then the statistics of how people find that type of music and how they're utilizing it, because one of the main people there was a sponsor of SoundCloud. Another was from Microsoft. The other was from, I believe, Ubisoft. And then one from a AI company. They said essentially that gaming is not a single concept anymore. It's more immersive. Music is a large part of it. And with Y2K, in recent years, they decided that they were going to collaborate with the fan base and actually have the artists that are playing their games that do make music be able to put it in. They had about 15,000 submissions that they combed down with about 6 months of processing down to 20 artists. That's a lot. But their big takeaway, because there were a lot of artists in the room, is that be loud about who you want in games and what you are able to do on social media. And for the folks that are trying to find you will find you. It just takes time. But yeah, on to the next one. The second one was called No Stage, No Seats, No Limits, The Future of Concerts, which was focusing more so on the use of metaverse and VR for concert bases. They said that the big perks that they're seeing right now is that prices are exponentially less in both production and essentially for tickets, which are better for both sides. And there's no stress like you would have for road trips, for tours. Any device can be utilized for it for the most part, so there's not really a big barrier of entry. And they can release concerts now with how optimized stuff is in 2 weeks instead of around 2-3 months minimum of a process of what you do for a live tour. While there is still some talk that VR is still in its infancy and that it won't replace it, there is still the caveated side that we don't know where it's going to go. It's in its infancy, so we don't know what it has in store. But why labels haven't really gotten into it and it's more indie artists right now that are utilizing it is because they're too afraid to make a move and set a wrong precedent, because they don't know how to invest in it, they don't know how to start in it, and they don't want to be caught up in a mistake, which is understandable, but they're going to need to start moving on it soon. On to the next one. The third session that I was in was the Metaverse for Good, Practical Ways AR and VR is already improving our world, which was focusing more so on how Australia right now is utilizing that capability. It was focusing on how they are using it in classrooms to better educate students on coding, creating, and implementing things that will no doubt become more commonplace in the future when it comes to sustainability and ecosystems. A lot of folks are having people go into the barrier reefs and coral to show where it is now, and then go in every few months to show the progression of global warming and how the coral reefs and everything are dying because of it. There are other parts where Coles is thinking in the future of using VR to train so that it's an easier bit. And then for those that were wanting to start into new metaverse stuff, they suggested to always start small. And if you're thinking of getting into something, go with a medium that supports it. Don't go for the newest tech just because it's new. It's a way to do it, but it's not the only way. And sometimes it's not the best way. And then if you're going to get into an industry portion of it that you don't know, get people that do, that you can learn from. But yeah, that was the majority of what all it was about. It was very interesting. On to the last one. The last event that I was in yesterday was called STEM's Remix Culture and Fan Creators, which was more so talking about what all to expect with DJing and how to properly remix sets and what to expect in the coming years in that type of industry or field. There was a lot of talk about how to start using the software and to just go for it. And then there was talk of a AI, I believe was called Make It, where it is creating a song for you to remix. So whatever you remix, it is yours. You can sell it, whatever you want with it. It's not going to have any like copyright claim for it. And then they said one of the big things that they're expecting in the future is probably doing self-isolation or blanket licensing or isolated music concepts, where you'd be able to have like all the background music so that you could sing to it, or take out the guitar, or take out the bass, and everything else is still there so that you can add your own. But as of right now, the thought process of how to make that licensing is mind-boggling. But they wouldn't be surprised if that's something in the future. That was my last one for South by Southwest, and it was definitely a good trip to go on. I'm glad I went. All right, this is Casey Byers, your residential marketing major, resident chaos creator, signing out. Bye.